Hi guys, welcome back to What's New Podcast episode number 5. We here have our co-host for this episode is going to be Brody from episode 4.
Hey, what's going on?
There's that kid. And then for our special guest that we will be doing whatever with, we have Eli
What's going on?
and Luke.
Hello.
I keep wanting to say Scott instead of Luke for some reason. Don't hold that against me.
Right?
Yo, we should invite Scott next time.
Yes, he
Imagine.
would be great. But okay, so
Big
the
pick.
first thing we're gonna go over for our little 4 segments is video games. So I'm gonna let y'all three trail away on whatever you want to talk about video games wise.
Yo, video games are
Oh,
great, no? Best.
I guess I'll start
plenty
because
to
I feel
talk
like
about. I have plenty of pent-up rage.
Okay. Wow.
oh yes, please.
Please, I want to hear your rage.
Unveil it.
Uh, aren't you gonna list the other 3 segments?
No,
I
not yet.
Oh,
all right. Brody, please
got it.
take the floor.
Now this game starts with the letter F, ends with the letter
Fortnite.
R.
Ooh,
What?
not Fortnite.
Stop.
It's not Fortnite. No, it's For Honor.
Oh yes, my favorite game. For Honor.
Best game.
Oh, I love that game.
I do love that game as well.
It's the concept of it.
Is brilliant.
Its story behind it, well, quote unquote story behind it, is very interesting. But then there's Ubisoft North America coming in with the massive buffs and nerfs, just like updating the game. One character, which was my main, got nerfed to the ground and hasn't been fixed for over a year. There are characters that have been broken since the release of the game and have not been touched on in the slightest. Do you guys have anything to add on to that?
Well, I honestly personally agree that the game is sort of busted currently inside its current state. For Honor's not the best game currently, but I find that it's redeemable in multiple other factors. Although there are characters that are obviously better than others, I feel like the main reason that is because newer players at the game were struggling actually being able to do anything because although the game is simple, it is relatively difficult to get into, especially when a lot of the people that play the game still are very high leveled, skilled players, and especially when the player base is so small, it kind of allows that to kind of culminate and ends up making newer players not want to play the game anymore. That's why
Right.
characters like Warmonger exist, not because she's meant to be played at like a professional level, because someone that's playing a harder character will be doing better against someone that's playing a lower level character at the same skill
I-
level. But
Yeah.
I would agree if the easier characters had easier moves to pull off, and because they're easier moves to pull off, the more veteran players can pull them off more commonly than they would be able to harder characters.
like Warmongers are like light attacks. She doesn't really have the most complex big brain like Giga Brain attacks. It's not very hard. I think I could give I think I could give a controller to a kid with cerebral palsy and could probably still do something good with it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's just unbalanced. What do you expect?
I genuinely think that although Warmonger is a good character, and I know the new guy, I think he's like Griffith or something. I don't know his name, but I know that I know he's pretty broken too. I think the idea of that is that they added in like a bunch of other characters that were high skill, high understanding, and there are definitely easy characters to play, but even characters like Shigoki that are easy on the surface are still hard to master and play at a relatively decent level because obviously he's a heavy character. The game is relatively complex in that matter, and it's just I think it's meant to allow easy like newer players to get into the game.
Now,
Simply.
talking about Shigoki, the rework that was done to him again over a year ago, I personally, from my perspective, don't see what was wrong with him to begin with. He was perfectly fine. He did have that passive that allowed him to insta kill somebody, but only if they did a lot of damage to them. But that move was incredibly easy to dodge. So I just can't really see why they would do that.
Shigoki's rework after playing him, I got like 5 procedures on him. The reason why it existed is because his character was basic and getting off attacks except for lights was challenging. On top of that, there was not very much blocking potential and also juking, or basically just baiting out a parry out of an enemy. it was challenging, at least more challenging in the past, and that made him a character that was simple on the surface, but playing against anyone that was playing a light character, for instance, like Shinobi, would get decimated. Unless, of course, the Shinobi didn't know how to block a heavy attack. It ended up making the character nearly unplayable at a high level, and the rework allowed him to be a little bit quicker on his feet and allowed him to overall do more attacks more often, allowed him to feel more, I guess, fluid.
Now, I do understand that the fact that the character didn't have very many moves at his disposal, but as we said before with Warmonger, if the character like is simple at base, they're like one of the characters that a new player can just pick up. And unlike Warmonger, Shigoki is only what I believe 500 silver, so it's very easy to get him.
Although that is true, Shigoki has the issue where he's more complex on the surface. More like I'll put it like this: Warmonger has the issue where she has the variety of a lake, but the depth of a like a bathtub. She's not very deep as a character. She doesn't really go very far, and mastering her character isn't challenging or complex. Shigoki is as versatile as a puddle, but deeper than the ocean. He has so much things you need to be able to master to him to actually be able to pull off things against people that are light, easy, up in your face attackers compared to his slow, monotonous type of character. It's a little bit different, and and the reason why Shigoki's a little bit different is because he actually takes skill to be able to master. He's easy at the surface, but anyone that's going to play another character with any amount of skill is probably going to be able to beat you, realistically, a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, another character that I believe needed work on, but was recently worked upon, now not broken, Raider. The fact that you could spam that top light that did, I believe,
Oh my god.
it was a disaster.
They
didn't
really
time.
I mean that is like around the same thing as complaining about Doom Eternal Demons. I get where you're coming from if you were a new player that didn't know how to play the game, but when you've played the game for long enough, you begin to realize that if they were to spam the top light 3 times, maybe by the 3rd time you would realize maybe I can parry that
quick,
and get.
Though.
I mean it is quick, but have you also realized that you parry that attack?
No, too, because I mained him for like a
when
bit.
Yeah, because most people that play the game are actually baby level intelligence, but
yeah, I did have baby level intelligence. What do you expect?
If you parry that light attack, he's open for a heavy, and if you're playing literally basically any character that's not Shinobi, that's gonna do some damage. It's meant to be a risky play.
I would completely agree with you on that front, but as we all know, parrying light attacks is one of the more difficult parts of For Honor.
Definitely.
It's easy to, but with such a fast light move, it's just near impossible.
Well, when someone makes it into a combo, I agree with you. That is challenging to beat, but you just mentioned that it's really not. The character's movements, he lifts his axe above his head. I mean, I'd qualify that as actually being quite easy to read. I think his zone is much more hard to read because he kind of has his base stance, but he goes from his base stance into a swing. On top of that, it does a relative amount of damage,
I believe.
What I'm saying is that generally speaking, I think that you guys mentioned how he spams light attack. That's my issue with the statement. When Raider spams the light attack on top, it's very easy to counter because he hits you with it once.
He doesn't spam it. He usually makes a combo and then uses it, which becomes hard to read. So.
Yeah, no, once again, it's like Centurion. It's like complaining Centurion is too quick, and that's why he got nerfed.
What game are we
he's not too quick. It's just that he's.
For a second.
We're talking about For Honor. And it's like a medieval type.
I'm basically on defense, getting a barrage of questions put at me.
Interesting.
I personally don't have an issue with For Honor. I think that there definitely is issues with the game, but every game ever that has existed, most games have issues. Now, not as much as For Honor. For Honor is a mess, but
yes,
I find that that doesn't really make the game terrible. The game has a lot of quality aspects to it.
The game in itself is great. There's just little specks of things that they need to do with it.
The game The game has potential to be fantastic. I agree, but
No,
I don't think the game is terrible off the bat. I just think that a lot of the I believe that a lot of the game is, first thing, it's not really built for casual fan base. The reason why the game was appealing to begin with is because it was masterable, and that made it so that the people that appealed to the idea of mastering, fighting game mechanics, like that's like complaining that like games like Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff like that are bad because they're not meant for beginners. But that's not the idea of the game. It's like complaining that Doom Eternal is too hard. It's like it's not. It's just not built for specific people, and
Yeah,
that's
you have
the
to learn.
issue, is that I think that Ubisoft was like, okay, well, if I make the game better for beginners, then we can get everyone to enjoy the game. But it basically went against the core player base
Yeah.
that liked the hard, complex, intricate game. That's why people that don't. That's why in high levels people don't really play Raider often. There are people that play Raider, but characters that have more skillful and more grasping,
basically cooler characters.
Yeah, because
Cooler
you
characters,
get
yeah.
more fun out of them.
Yeah,
because there's much more to
that's-
gain. And that's why people don't think that Shinobi deserved to be nerfed, is because his character had so much to him. But to newer players that were playing the game, Shinobi was daunting, because when they looked at Shinobi, they're like, he's quick, he's agile, his counters are brutal, I cannot play against this character, I can't do this.
Because
And
it was
that
too hard for the newer player base.
because it was too hard for the newer player base. And that's
Yeah.
the issue, is
I
that the
know
casuals
what
weren't able to enjoy
I'm saying.
themselves.
I know what I'm saying when I talk about Shinobi. He was an incredibly good character, but that came at the cost of him being so goddamn difficult. Because, like, Luke over here, like, he was telling me, oh, Shinobi is easy as hell. I'm gonna go into training and see how he is. And then he looks at the first page of moves, and he's just stunned. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that he's easily the most complex character in the game. I think that is a given, and his character is intricate, but to a beginner, they don't really care about that. They just look at that type of thing. But I generally think that most of the root cause of why the game is bad is because I think that Ubisoft kind of lost their direction with the game over time. Because in the end, For Honor is really not a game that's meant to be able to have that long-lasting, changing aspect that new games have now, where it's constantly changing, constantly adding content, constantly keeping the guys that have the actual like goldfish amount of like concentration to keep them intrigued and interested in the game. There is none of that inside of For Honor, or at least the game isn't built for that. It's built for skill. It's built like games, like fighting games, which don't really have new content terribly often, except for a new character or something.
Yeah.
It's meant to be skillful. It's like Doom Eternal, a game that's not meant to, add new content all the time, but is meant to intrigue you with the gameplay itself. It's good to be like, it's meant to be a package. But the issue is, I think that the people at Ubisoft are like, well, what if we don't make it a package? What if we kind of change the game, but it was already a package to begin with? So they're deconstructing the game, but in the process, ruining the game for everyone that enjoyed it for what it was. It's kind of like what's happening to Destiny, but in a different way. Also, Destiny's a
Okay,
that's a pretty funny segue.
We don't have enough time for that. No.
All right,
Sure.
fair. Okay, all
Definitely.
right. That would have been funny.
I feel like that is a good time to go into our next segment. Zachary, would you agree?
I do. So I had a nice time there, just sitting there listening, not saying anything at all. Actually taking a
Yes.
break and not talking for once. But our next
That's great.
segment, which I'm also going to say a few things and then sit back and do absolutely nothing with, is anime.
Ooh.
How exciting!
Oh, please spare me. Anyways,
In my, on my honest opinion, I don't understand. I'm just like, I watch action movies and
let's
cop
go.
shows. Anime isn't my thing, so forgive
cool.
me with that. But
You know, it's
no,
Nah, like you're good, man. I
It's perfectly
I completely get it.
to like anime. I personally don't see why, but it's
Oh, no, I
all
do.
biased.
No,
Because-
like listen, it's bad. Like anime is
Well, no, okay,
brilliant,
let
but
me-
my god, the trade-offs are crazy.
you
The
have had the
trade-offs
trade-offs
floor
are
this
crazy.
entire time.
Okay, Brody, take the floor.
Let me
You may have the entire stage.
let me restate what I said. I do understand a lot of reasons why not to like it, because there are some things like, ooh, this is funny because she has fat tit. Like,
Stop.
Okay, let's go. Dude.
that's
Although that is a
we
part
are
of the
jumping
reason.
right into it head first. Actually, like head first into the deranged swimming pool, diving
Oh no.
head first. Man, okay, just like we're already in deep. Just continue. All right.
But like with
Oh, no.
that, not all animes are like that, because as we said in our last episode, just because one person is something doesn't mean that everyone else is that same thing.
Huh.
Want to add on to that, Zach?
No.
This is
Eli?
a top deck he abstains from.
Eli?
What?
You haven't said it. You should speak.
I
No.
should speak.
I enjoy not speaking. I talk too much.
Not talking to
Have you ever watched
That-
VTubers? My God,
No, stop right there.
that's not part of anime. I'm just,
Stop.
I'm,
No,
I'm,
stop.
no. I'm just saying, don't. But
He
no,
already searched it up.
retract.
And in the
Just-
last
just
episode,
don't.
I mentioned it, and I think he saw Gurugar and didn't want it.
Dog bless. Don't do that. Just don't. All right, like listen,
No,
man. Anime has its trade-offs, but VTubers are like, dude, it's actually like a curse.
I feel like it would be safe to say-
Yesterday, while we were recording yesterday's episode, someone said something about VTubers and said, "Don't search it up if you want to stay innocent." So smart me searched it up, and I was like, "What in the world?"
Yeah,
Oh
you're no longer
no,
innocent, aren't you?
I've
It's a rabbit hole.
resided.
Don't go into it.
I've resided in that mush for I resided there for a few months, and my God,
It was terrible.
the people that exist inside that area, the actual people, they're more like goblins. It's actually terrifying.
You became one of them.
I did not. I was
Yes,
pure,
you did.
Eli. I
Yes,
was
you did.
pure. I was pure. Eli, shut
became
your
one
ass
of
up. I was pure.
Hey, yo,
man.
I
was-
didn't watch a single one.
Hey
Shut up.
yo, Eli, tell me your favorite anime right now. Right now, square up, right now.
Rising of Shield
The
Hero.
only good part about anime is the music changed my mind.
Now,
That's
I
true.
like that segue. I think that anime music is
that
brilliant.
statement.
I like anime music a lot.
Music is
As someone
anime music
that
is great.
despises Anime, I like that statement. Now, real quick before anybody else speaks, I guess we probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but this will likely be all nerd talk.
Which is why I'm not
No.
talking.
Observe.
No.
Like, yeah.
I do this daily.
Topic to the second topic, I think you can rightfully get that.
We just talked for
Yes.
25 minutes about
Just
For Honor.
disclaimer.
Yeah,
I didn't
about
come
the
up
same game.
I didn't come up with anything to talk about here. This was all them.
No.
So the nerd stuff falls on their faces.
Yeah, it's mostly me actually.
Hmm. Now, Birdie, may I obtain the stage? May I walk upon the stage? Or are you still
I go get
dominating it?
popcorn.
My God, Eli, I really do be contributing. Alrighty then.
You haven't said jack shit besides
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you want me to say? You just like,
I
you just,
played
like start
Raider.
talking on for a whole essay.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
Okay.
My favorite
We're
anime
supposed to
is
be-
Rising to Shield Hero. I love how it actually packs emotions into 25 episodes. What else do you want me to say, dude?
I'm about to talk for
More.
25 minutes about music and why it's important because
Okay.
I can
Okay.
format
I
No,
like this.
I have formatted that thought for ages now. Personally, with me, I don't like new music. Not that it's bad.
Because
A
it's
lot of it's
bad.
actually quite good. I just don't find it to be interesting. A lot of it just feels samey and most of the time feels emotionless. A lot of music currently doesn't feel like it's actually being made with emotion or intrigue or actual wanting to make something good, but in the end feels just it ends up just feeling all samey and not actually entertaining to actually consume. So what ends up happening is that I was never really enjoying music. Now in the past, music was pretty good when I was growing up and when I was listening to music. It was actually really solid. But recent music nowadays, the stuff that I see being mentioned everywhere, even on places like Instagram and whatever, all of it just doesn't really feel unique to me. It all ends up feeling like it's the same sort of deal. Now, when I got into anime, I didn't really expect for the music to be that good. I started with Naruto. I think that every human being did.
That's what got me into anime. Let's go.
But
Anyways.
I think, but I think that anime music. I think most animes that are made with passion and pride and all that have fantastic music. I mean, not just in openings or endings. That stuff is mentioned way too often. Opening and endings are useful. They're cool because that's like the introduction to a book. It's good to have a good basis, but I think that in the end, those are a small fragment of the bigger fragment of the
Right.
ambient music throughout the actual story. But Birdie, you
Oh, you're
may,
talking about like the fighting
okay.
music and shit?
I'm
Yeah.
talking about general music, things that fill in the gaps between dialogue. That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Like
very
the emotional scenes, you know?
I'm
That's
talking
kind of
about
funny.
everything. I'm talking about literally every single piece of
I
music that
know,
plays.
okay.
it definitely the music in the background definitely does set the mood. A good example that I can say, if you haven't watched the Demon Slayer movie yet, I recommend listening for a second. In the fight between Akaza and Rengoku, the music behind it was just so unexpected for a Demon Slayer anything. Like,
It hit hard.
but even with it being unexpected, it was amazing.
It provided so much emotion to the actual scene that was happening.
Well, it was actually the music was intriguing with the actions, and generally put, I think that's one of the better fight themes I've heard. But like, I think that a good music is meant to immerse you into the setting of the story. For instance, Demon Slayer, as Brody previously mentioned, does a fantastic job with this, with its music that's eerie. I'm not really sure how I would describe it, but a lot of it feels folkish and old.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like you are somewhat in the culture of Japanese during the, what is it, Edo period?
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Early
Yes.
1900s. Early 1900s. That's all I know.
And you know, I think that most of the music is really well done. I think that Demon Slayer is a fantastic anime with, I mean, I don't think that there's a single bad song in that anime. I mean, just so many fantastic songs in there. But like, I think one of my favorite ones is the one. What episode is it, Brody? It's
19, right?
Kuro Kamado something.
It's
No, what episode is it though?
Ending Tanjiro versus Rui.
Yeah, that the Rui fight has one of the best songs I think in anime because it connects to Tanjiro's character. I think in a lot of ways. My friends point out to me the fact that like the light voice of the person singing
it
is
kind of
weird.
sounds creepy, not gonna lie, but I still like it.
Eli,
I love it to death.
I think that you're just wrong. Respectfully
Dude, I
speaking.
literally just said it sounds creepy, but I love it to death.
But
okay?
but that song I think represents the fact that I think because of the flashback it's meant to like reference Tanjiro's childhood and what he was taken away and what was taken away from him, and having that light voice kind of signifies that, but it's powerful because of what he's doing. I mean, the scene itself, it is fantastic, and I mean that entire anime. I mean it's just fantastic. I think
scene, going along with the flashbacks that you stated, Tanjiro uses the Dance of the Sun God, I believe is what it was called, and uses it against Rui, which, if you don't know Demon Slayer, then why are you still listening? Is what his father used to basically please the Sun God. I won't go much further in depth to it because that's manga. Because take it away, somebody.
All right, but I find that good anime music is important for developing the story and the situation that you're in. For instance, Kekai Sensen is a relatively down low anime. Not very many people know it, but I think it's one of the better animes whenever it comes to music portrayal, with music that is casual. A lot of it is jazzy, and overall adds to a sense of, I guess, comfort in the area that you're in. You will witness a fight and then you'll see the characters and all of them are relatively chill afterwards and everything feels like it's just overall pretty cohesive.
Yeah. So
yes, that's what that means.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Alrighty.
sadly, our gay host is leaving us. I'm not
Man.
homophobic.
I can still
Really,
hear you.
really,
No, you can't.
really
over.
taking. Brody's really taking on the leadership role.
Now,
This
all right,
gay
I'm
guy
Better
gonna
just
leader than
follow
left.
my rules now.
Shut your
Let's
ass up, Eli.
go. Hey, who you talking to? Hey, you wanna have a fight?
But yes,
Eli,
guys,
you have not
I
done
have to
a
go.
thing, bro.
Sometimes you
I'll
just
still be
you
here,
talk-
so I just won't be able to talk. I'll be hearing all their conversation. I just won't be able to talk. So yeah.
You're good.
That's kind of lame.
Eli,
Don't
shut
listen
your
to
ass
us.
Up. Eli, shut up. You do not get to critique literally anything. You
I'll
best
probably
sit there
pop
and say
back up
yes
in the
and
end
no
of
like a
this
dog.
episode.
Well, I mean, I can't really say anything because I don't have the best opinions on that crap of shit.
Okay, Eli, talk about the cyber attack. Right now.
Okay. All I
Unload
know
your
is it got hacked, and apparently the freaking pipeline is freaking got hacked, and then my brother was gonna go to Target, and we were gonna go buy some light tape for my. And then and then he was like, I can't do shit because the freaking gas, I can't get gas because they don't provide it, and the whole world just freaking out about gas, and gas prices go up, go burr. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, Shakespeare. Thank you, Eli.
I'm just the
All right.
best.
All right.
Eli,
Brody, do you have anything to add on?
What,
That's
Brody?
like more civilized?
Wow, more civilized.
I literally, I think it was about 30 minutes ago. So at the start of the podcast, I learned about the cyber attack. Not
Yes.
once have I ever heard of it.
I mean, I've seen it on the
I
news.
mean,
I could
it
probably,
started like yesterday. So.
I can probably add on to that because it's probably important. I can probably just add in some knowledge that I have whenever it comes to gas and going away, big bad. I mean, I think
Yes.
reasonably so. I don't really know much about it, but assuming by the name, I don't think it's very complex. I can deduce the fact that a cyber attack occurred that restricted gas usage. Now, I'd
Thank
also
you so
presume,
much.
based on,
I'm kind of confused though. How
I'd
does a
also
pipeline get hacked? I'm like,
probably
why did it?
because the flow of gas between it is regulated by a stopper that would be automated by a by something that
Electricity, I
would
guess.
close it. Yeah. So
No,
they basically cut that and made sure that no one could stop it. So basically, the gas isn't able to flow out. And that's probably going to cause a little bit more conflicts. Now, if I know the economy, they're not going to be like, ah, yes, some person in their basement has hacked this very sophisticated oil containment. Ah, yes, I'm going to make sure that just stays how it is. Like, no, this is probably going to be fixed in days, and this is probably not going to cause that big of a crisis.
Yeah.
But I would like to see this guy get caught though, because I want to know like what is the purpose of that? What
Prices rise probably.
yes, I'm going. I like hacking. Anything else?
he
Your
could
mic
be
is
from another
clipping in and out.
country, like North Korea, Russia, something like that.
Yes, the Americans very bad people. I'm going to hack the oil.
I don't know why they would do it.
Brilliant.
Did it?
Luke, you underestimate how important oil is, really.
Dude, this is
Yeah.
going to be regulated
You need
in literal.
everywhere you go, you need oil.
I mean,
Every
it's
gallon
true.
costs like $3 now because of it.
Oil. You want to go see your friends and family? Oil. You want to fucking have sex in the back of a car? Oil.
Go back, do a 180.
Okay, hold back. What?
360, do a backflip, like bop it, twist it. What?
Huh?
I mean, I don't think that takes gas, my guy. Different type of gas, but like, like, come on, what the fuck
That's
you
what I
doing?
was gonna say.
Like, listen, dog.
Like-
I just
You need to get somewhere safe, bro.
like I'm saying like although it is like unfortunate that it's happening, if the United States does not get this under control in like the matter of days, like one, I'm gonna be a little bit sad because I don't think that someone would be able to like hardcore like absolutely like lock down an entire system and absolutely cause like the entirety of the United States to collapse because people can't drive their Ford F-150 to work. Like, no,
Before,
no.
do you think something as COVID? Luke,
What?
answer the question.
Do 180?
Oh,
Repeat.
what did you say?
But before COVID, did you think that something so bad could happen?
No. To be
Yeah,
honest,
no, I
not
did.
me.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, just like imagine though, I mean, I definitely could, but I also didn't think that people would like have the intelligence of a rock.
I mean,
and like be like, oh, men go outside,
COVID.
men kiss other men.
Speaking of COVID,
cavemen be like,
though we did talk about this last episode, I would like for the viewers to go more in depth on your experience, Luke. I very briefly
yes.
last episode, but Eli, I would also like to hear your experience.
Most of my experience has to do with like Luke or Zoom, actually.
Hey yo, hold. All right, so currently COVID-19 is very funny. I think that it's very funny. It's very funny. I don't like listen. I'm fortunate, more fortunate than most people. Although I don't really have the option to go to school and shit like that, or be around people because of my own personal like family issues and shit like that. It is interesting though, because I am fortunate because I think I've taken it pretty well. Over this entire time, I've kind of been chilling. I haven't really had to worry about much. I've kept on top of whatever I'm doing, and I haven't really had very much time. I definitely had less motivation than I did in the past, but I mean, comparatively speaking, it's still incredibly high, and I'm pretty happy with that. But over this entire time, I realized that, like, man, there is a massive disconnect between my life and what's going on at school. And you know, just like doing like school, because like last year when I was in 8th grade and I was going from my semester like basically like mid-semester 2 to the end of the year, it wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it because it was like a different change of pace. There was a few issues with, you know, teacher communication, but I got it done and there wasn't very many issues. So that was cool, right? And I expected I was gonna have to do it the next year, and I did instead of 9th grade, which is like cool, right? And I knew I was gonna have to do it for the entirety of the year, but now I feel the exact same as I did back when I started. Everything feels like it's the exact same because I believe that school in its core function is like a factory job, which isn't that big of a deal because I think that the social interaction, talking to people, doing a lot of that other stuff is fun, and it kind of adds to that perspective of it not being as bad as it is. Whenever you're secluded to an area inside your room, doing factory work, constantly just being spammed with assignments over and over again, it overall homogenizes every single day, making every single day feel the exact same. When I'm telling you, I can't tell you the season that's outside right now, I can, but when I can tell you the fact that over this time, I have no sense of what's happening outside, or, you know, what time it is whenever it comes to that, or how time is going, I mean it. I mean, over this time, I don't really recognize that time is actually passing. I feel like at the end of the year, I'm like, finally, I'm done with that, like, that long year. No, this year didn't feel like it was long. This entire school year didn't feel like it was long at all. Because everything felt the exact same. Every single day going in felt like the exact same work repeated over and over and over again. And that ended up just making school not feel very fun, because in 8th grade, I started gaining my bearings. I was getting praised for what I was doing, and I was enjoying myself. People inside my school cared about who I was, and I was enjoying that part of life. And I knew that, you know, when I was going to online school, I wasn't going to get that recognition anymore. Rather from the people at school that were like, hey, yo, good job, man. No, I don't even get that anymore. I seriously don't even get teacher recognition anymore. When I say that I perform pretty well inside every single one of my classes, better than most people do, that's true. And every single assignment that I do well, everything that I do, every single test that I do well, feels like it's absolutely nothing to those teachers. If anything, it's actually negative. A lot of the teachers care literally nothing about what I do. And I know that that's subsequently because they have no idea who I am. To them, I'm the guy that asks random questions, just randomly, the guy that wears his robe to school. No one really knows who I am there, and no one knows who I am on Zoom, because really the only thing that shows is that side of me that's trying to figure out what a problem is or trying to better understand something. Everything just feels one-dimensional, and so do my teachers. My teachers just feel like basically just robots, just giving me information and just saying, oh yeah, go study that. And that's just not very, I guess, interesting. My day basically revolves around me going to school, me getting a little bit of information, mainly just schoolwork, and me coming home, staying at home, and then studying at night. And most of my information, most of my gained knowledge is not from what I learn inside of school. It's from what I do at night. It's from me going over what I, like the PowerPoints that I needed to do or the other information. And that just ends up completely ruining, I think, the flow to school. And it's currently making school just not very fun, basically at all. And if I wasn't who I am, if I wasn't able to take this and just be like, yeah, I got this, I'm gonna continue rolling along with it. If I was not inside that predicament, and if I was, not like I am right now, I guarantee you I would not be enjoying school at all. And I understand why kids are struggling with school currently, and it's not because there's no social contact. It's not because, oh man, I can't see my friends at school. Oh no, it's because school, when it's online, has been stripped down to its very basic functions. And that makes it the most boring thing that you can do for a long extended period of time. And it also there's a multitude of other issues, but I think that we should move on to our final one now because I've kind of dominated for a little bit.
Dominated way too much. But I wanna continue that real quick. On that fact, with how like school has just become like because you just log on to Zoom, it's just basically what Luke said, become factory work, but like it's just work loaded onto you. You don't get in that social contact with the teachers. You're just locked behind a screen. But I made the mistake because the first two weeks of school was Zoom, but you could actually have the option to go back. And I decided to go back, but I saw many perks to online, so I go back for 3 days, and I was like, nah, I see the perks of online. I get to talk to my friends during class, and I get to like maybe look up answers if I need to. But I made the mistake of so I was like, I went there for 3 days, and I was like, nah, online's better. But I made that mistake because now that I've noticed, it's just because I don't get any of that social interaction with my friends anymore at school. Because like most of my friends, there's a few of my friends at school, and I'm not meeting any people at high school. I'm just kind of locked behind a screen. I'm locked behind a screen, so it doesn't mean much to be online anymore. So I kind of wish I freaking didn't make that mistake and actually go in person. It was very bad on my part.
You guys want to talk about movies?
Movies?
Yeah, because I mean, although like not very many movies have come out this year, obviously, because of the whole COVID-19 crisis, we can just talk about like general like media and that sort of like that sort of thing, like new releases over this whole time, and how I think that because like Disney Plus is a big example of them. I mean, we've had things like The Mandalorian released,
Mandalorian, WandaVision,
Captain America, yeah, that type of stuff.
Not Captain America, Winter Soldier and the Falcon.
Winter Soldier and the Falcon, yeah, those are pretty interesting.
Those are pretty good. Yeah, those are interesting. So,
I mean, like, does anyone want to start, or should I just start?
I mean, I can start.
Yeah, Eli,
you might go.
Speak.
Want to talk about the positives or the negatives of it? Because I think I can talk about either.
Talk about a mix. Because with the introduction of Disney Plus, the whole COVID thing, they decided to make Disney Plus where you could just watch and get new release stuff on their streaming platform, right? So, they released new freaking shows like WandaVision, which that was pretty good. It was kind of slow at the start. Kind of didn't understand it because it was like kind of like I forgot the name for it. Set as a
sitcom.
Yeah, sitcom. I was like, what is this? And then when it you could see like how it was kind of twisting because like you could see some parts in the where it was like started being colored and like it wasn't supposed to happen. And as the story progresses, the becomes fully covered, fully colored, and it's portrayed as like a sitcom still. These like because Wanda's like controlling this whole area, right? And it's like portrayed as a sitcom still, and like these investigators are outside the whole area, and because everything starts going wrong, they try to get in. They don't know why Wanda's acting like this, and she apparently
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, I probably should have put spoiler alert. Yeah. Anyways, we don't know why Wanda's acting like this, and we see like the backstory of how like Wanda got her powers, sort of, because she like interacts with the Mind Stone, and she freaking apparently was touched by a witch through the Mind Stone, and then like she could create life, which is pretty overpowered. But then we figure out one of these like characters in the sitcom where that was supposed to be like under Wanda's control was actually like one of the bad people just acting like it. Frick, what was her name? Do you remember her name, Luke? Agatha, yeah, her. And she like wants to steal Wanda's powers and everything. And like Wanda takes control and understands how to use her witch powers and like actually takes what the frick? What's the word? I guess takes control, whatever. And like she starts using it and basically defeats Agatha and realizes on what she's been doing to these people and like her fake area. And she realizes that like the vision she has created and the two boys she's created, they're real but not like reality. She created them herself. So she goes off to understand herself and like freaking has to put all of it away and like I don't even know where she goes at the end. It's kind of crazy.
Okay. I mean, that was kind of a marathon. I was kind of talking about like the industry and how it fared. So I'll just go off that.
I liked WandaVision. Okay, I
think WandaVision's first 3 episodes are like Naruto filler. They're basically utterly useless. They don't really develop much of the story. The ending fight is about as good as they fight in the sky. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty alright. I think the only redeeming quality to it is that I think that Vision's interaction with his other Vision is pretty cool, and I think that like the development of the Scarlet Witch and how actually powerful she is kind of cool because she is a very powerful character. But I think that like you could easily cut that down a lot of the book, probably like 33% of the actual show could be cut down a ton. On top of that, the side characters are not very good at all.
They're meh.
And the new lady that got her powers from going into Wanda's thing for going into her little thing getting mutated. She's cool, I guess, but she needs more development. Let's just say that. But I think that the music and I think that the movie industry overall over this time I think has fared relatively well. I mean, obviously, movie theaters are dying currently, but I think that places like Netflix and Disney Plus are thriving pretty well now. There's been a few releases on Netflix. I haven't really watched many of them, but I've watched Mandalorian, Scarlet Witch, or WandaVision, and Winter Soldier, and all of those are pretty okay. I think that the one that stands out as being really good out of all of those is The Mandalorian, because I mean, after I saw the first few new Star Wars movies, anything that would have been better than that, I would have been okay with. And by far, Mandalorian does better than all of those movies. The new ones, at least. The new Star Wars movies. Because, my God, it's not very hard to do better than those. But I think that The Mandalorian does a really good take on just a different sort of Star Wars. Because Star Wars is something that it just becomes samey after a while. Rey just ends up feeling like Luke Skywalker, except she has all the emotion and honestly cool parts of Luke Skywalker absolutely torn away, and she just ends up just being this kind of I'm really good with a sword type of character, and she just really doesn't end up being interesting. But I think that Mandalorian takes an interesting approach on a character that I feel like isn't well known by most Star Wars fans that aren't into the books or into the other type of lore. And I find that to be pretty cool. On top of that, I find the integration of, more lore about Yoda to be cool as well. But moving on to the other parts, I think that Winter Soldier is pretty well done as well. There are a few parts that are kind of bad. I don't really care about like a whole like Falcon's sister plot. I don't really care about. It's not very interesting. The whole ship plot I meant to really care about, but then you think for a minute. Falcon is a Avenger for the Avengers, the people that saved the world. I don't think that he would need to really move much to be like, hey, yo, guys, can you guys like get my sister money to fix this like old ship? the plot is weird and it's kind of all over the place occasionally, but I think that the story is pretty solid, and I think that like the development of Falcon as a character is really good, because I think his character really wasn't developed very well to begin with, because you have all these cool characters like Iron Man that worked for his powers and all that type of stuff, and Thor. I mean, I don't need to explain Thor to you because he's just obviously fantastically cool character. Spider-Man, so many of these super heroes, but then Falcon, he just like flies around.
He just gets stuff from Tony Stark, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a superhero now."
You need to develop his character a little bit more, and they added so much more to his character inside this new one, where I think that it's actually pretty solid. Now, I think that the ending to the show, spoilers, I guess, was a bit meh. I think that everything was really good. Then they got political about a woman that decided that it would be a brilliant idea that when people rematerialized inside the world and started taking over their old houses that they had lived in before, she just goes off. She just thinks, yes, no, they won't give me the house that I stole from these people. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not just gonna protest. I'm gonna kill innocent people.
Oh yeah,
and then Vision's like, yeah, the Flag Smashers are by far one of the worst villains I've ever seen.
Yeah, I do not. They were introduced so poorly.
It's like, wait a minute, you took my red crayon, shoot in the head. It's like, listen, dog, I get the idea, because it's messed up. You got used to that type of life, right? But to go to the extent of killing innocent people casually is, I think, a bit much. I also find it that the ending trying to be political, it would have been better if he mentioned more about who he is. And, obviously the whole problem with a black Captain America, because obviously that's not what they would think a Captain America would be. Going into more detail on that, I think would have been a little bit better, but I think the start to the whole thing was a bit messed up.
Can you explain the political ending?
The political ending, basically, Falcon, gets upset at one of the senators because he's, lacking in caring for a lot of the current predicaments that they're in, with the whole predicament of people rematerializing after the snap and, seeing a new person living inside their house. There's an issue with that, and you need to fix that, because obviously if there's half the amount of houses open again, then people are going to be buying those houses. So what do you do when those people rematerialize? The people that own those houses previously. And the reason why the Flag Smashers are mad is because, well, they got their house taken from them, and they got the things that they had previously taken from them, which is cool to be angry about, right? But I think that killing innocent people is a bit too much. But Falcon tries to play off that idea that, like, why are you calling them terrorists, bro? Like, they didn't kill innocent people. Lol. I mean, they 100% are terrorists.
Yeah, definitely.
If she didn't kill innocent people, sure, right? But no, she does, and she's a bad person. But I think that he tries to pin the blame on other people, saying the fact that since you guys weren't open to helping these people, they became bad people, which is a good idea. But I think that they should have centerfolded more on who he is as a character. Because I feel like if they were to focus more on describing why it's okay to have a black Captain America, and why, and I know I know that they did this inside the speech, but going into more detail on why it's such a challenging thing for him to do, that would have been great. Adding in more details about people telling him that he can't do it, but then allowing him to, would be great. Because I think the conflict with him trying to figure out if he deserves the shield or not throughout the entire story to be quite good. But it's really only him being confused about it. No one tells him, you can't be Captain America. Everyone's just like, yeah, you could have done it. Why didn't you do it? It just ends up kind of feeling just kind of lukewarm. On top of that, the whole power broker plot line with the one lady that gave out the super serum
whatsoever.
That it wasn't developed well. I would have also liked a little bit more development on the new Captain America. I would have liked for him to become a little bit different than a US agent. Don't know why they're like, yes, whenever we need you, we'll call on you. The guy that really murdered someone. Like, it's cool, but I just think that it's a bit bad for what I think the character should have been. I think his character could have been fantastic. But besides from that, I think the movie industry, it's been interesting. There has been a few movies that have released that have caught my eye. Coming to America, the sequel to Coming to America. I know what I just said. That's actually a pretty funny movie. It's not like the most fantastic, well-written story I've ever seen, but it's something that you can sit down, shut off your brain, and enjoy, not ask very many questions, and just enjoy it. And just it's there's not very much to it. Nobody came out. Nobody is a very good film. It's an action film about a guy that basically he's a relatively ordinary guy, but he's actually not at all. And he's trying to get away from his past, but eventually his past comes back to bite him, and he has to basically fight that off. And it's a fantastic story. That's super entertaining to watch. The music's great. I mean, I would recommend anyone that has not watched Nobody watch it because it is a fantastic film. But there has been quite a few very good pieces of media that have come out. Hold up. Did Invincible come out in 2020?
I don't think so.
One actually.
Invincible, hold up.
You know what?
2021. It did come out. Invincible is also really good. Invincible is fantastic because I saw like The Boys, right? And I thought that was pretty good. Like I thought it was alright, right? I thought a lot of it was too grotesque to mean much. I found that they kind of forced down the whole superhero bad down your throat too much and didn't really add on to why they're actually good to kind of add a counterbalance to make you think, oh, well, maybe these guys aren't bad, but they are bad. No, there is no conflict. It's just superhero bad. Everyone's bad. Superhero very bad. But I think that Invincible does a fantastic job with the juxtaposition between a good superhero and a bad one, and how the line between those, it's there, but it's very hard to see. And I find that to be a fantastic plot. I mean, honestly, I think the ending to it is great. I don't think you need me to tell you that, but it is a fantastic ending, and I think that Invincible as a show is just done really well. Very well.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, I mean,
each episode has so much development on each character, even the characters that you completely forgot existed.
Yeah, I think that Invincible is one of the better things that have come out of Prime Video. But I just generally think that there definitely has been struggles in the movie industry with a lot of very bad movies that come out that have just been either just bad or mediocre. Like for instance, what?
Can we talk about the Demon Slayer movie?
Can we talk about Mortal Kombat real quick? Because that show is fire.
We'll skim over Mortal Kombat real quick. Mortal Kombat is a movie that exists, but it's pretty
interesting because you saw all the references, and even though the new character was like they added a new character to provide story, like a descendant of Scorpion.
Scorpion is badass. Having the whole kunai at the end
comes out of hell and he says like, a famous like get over here, that famous line.
Well, I mean, like Scorpion is badass because his character is just ominous and cool. The issue with the new character is he has armor and like those little like elbow swords or like arm swords. They're not very cool. And the character himself is like, I don't know if I can do this. And then he fights some giant guy and he's like, I can do this now. It's like, it's pretty basic writing. Most of the characters are very one-sided and just being very boring as characters.
Pretty bad in Mortal Kombat.
The story is
fighting
terrible.
Makes up for it though.
The fighting does not make up for it. If you shut off your brain, the movie's all right? Like you're not gonna remember much of it, but if you shut off your brain, that's good. If you turn on your brain for 1 second, the story just like you are just like, what is happening? Because a lot of the story is just like, I know this one place. I could take you there, right? Like, the story is very nonchalant and it's not very great in my opinion. But the action is supreme. It's fantastic. And I don't think it makes up for it. But I think that's good. I
personally do because I loved the spoilers, but I loved the insight where like Scorpion just comes up and shows out of nowhere and fights like Sub-Zero with the Descendant. It was like because he was like using blood and like he used his own blood and as an icicle, and then Scorpion used like fireball and shit. It was pretty fire. I don't know what you mean.
I think that it was pretty alright, but out of a 2-hour movie, a good 80% of the movie is just actually slack jaw type stuff. But on a better note, and I know that I've kind of had the floor here for a minute, I'm going to let Brody take this over because although I like the Demon Slayer movie a lot, I know that I think that he has a staunch, strong opinion. So I'm going to let him take over real quick.
Okay, that's
So,
your opinion.
the Demon
Moving on.
Slayer movie starts with Ubiyashiki, the leader of the Demon Slayer. Oh shit! Completely forgot. Spoiler alert! I think this might be the last segment, so if you don't want any spoilers, you can just go ahead and leave. For the Demon Slayer movie, at least. It's completely lore based as well, so that gives even more reason if you haven't watched it yet to leave. So the movie starts with Ubiyashiki, the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps, walking in the graveyard of all the dead Demon Slayers, and he is with his wife in what I genuinely thought to be a live action forest. Like, that shit looks so good. Is that just me?
Art,
Nah.
yeah, it is amazing. Art
Now
is
that
great.
the animation side of the actual anime itself was downright gorgeous. Except for some of the CGI. Some of the CGI, I mean, you want to kind of like throw up, but
Yeah. So we go from there to back to the last episode of Demon Slayer, the anime, the show, where Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu are hopping on the train and getting to Rengoku, which is my second favorite character. Now, Rengoku here, he, shut up, Eli, is a badass, and you will know why soon. Or if you've watched the movie, you already know why. All right. Now, we go to Rengoku, and one thing leads up to another. He doesn't know about the flame breath from Tanjiro and his father, but he does say that he will let Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro be under him, be his disciples, after he kills two of the demons that appeared on the train. Now, everyone falls asleep after the conductor stamps their cards. So, yeah, for obvious reason. And, well, obvious reason that the conductor stamps the cards. And then we see a Lower Moon 1, Enmu, the sleep demon, standing on the front of the train, basically explaining what his power is. He puts people to sleep, essentially. That's the easiest way to describe it. So, he gets these people that are not really wanting to live anymore. He gets them to put them into their dream so that they can do something to make that person that they're going to the dream of fall asleep for eternity. I'm not going to go too into detail, or else this would last for 15 minutes or so. But yeah, that happens, and each of them are thwarted in one way or another. Rengoku, he senses the girl that was in his dream before she could break the core, and basically chokes her, but not to the point that she would die, just so she couldn't move in the dream. Tanjiro, he has a beautiful place that the person who had tuberculosis, which at this time was not curable, he was just overcome with feelings and emotions about, like, what his dream world looks like. The other two are kicked out of the dream world in one way or another. I won't go into too much detail about them because it doesn't develop the plot at all. So Tanjiro senses that he can't cut the rope, which is the way they connected to the dream world. So he gets his sister to burn it with her funny power. Shut the fuck up,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, his post.
Eli, what is so funny? What is so funny?
Nothing. There's nothing funny here.
There's nothing funny about what Brody is saying, Eli. You're not being very serious.
No, this is not, I'm not talking about Brody. What she means? I'm just
Okay,
laughing
y'all,
at me
I'm
about my phone.
back.
You know what I mean? Oh, hey, Zachary.
Just gonna go ahead and warn you
So,
guys.
yeah.
We're almost at an hour, so go ahead and start wrapping things up like right now.
Yeah.
That way I can end it here.
So Enmu is killed after he becomes one with the train, and my favorite character, Akaza, which is a demon, appears and has an epic battle with Rengoku, and Akaza ends up killing Rengoku, and afterwards flees into the safety of darkness as a and Rengoku gives a heartwarming speech that Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu all hear, and they all start crying. And then that's pretty much it. An important character died. Now, if you haven't watched the movie and you heard all this, I'm sorry.
God bless.
Oh,
That must suck. Now,
you just
I'm
spoiled the movie for you.
gonna give my.
Watch it.
I'm gonna
Even
give.
if you do know a lot of the stuff that happens, because even with knowing all of this, the artwork is amazing, the music is beautiful, everything about it is just fantastic.
Brody
Now,
just all
Zach,
I need to say.
end
I agree.
this.
The only thing I have to say is about the train fight, the best
Me too.
CGI with like the gooey. Like I don't even know what that was.
It was very out of place, but it
It
works.
did
It's
not
alright.
look right at all.
So guys, thank you for
Zach?
watching this episode. I'm gonna cut them off there and end it out here because I gotta go. But anyways, hope you guys
Zach?
enjoy listening to these people talk it out. Go if you want to be in one of the episodes. Go to the comment, to the top pinned comment will be a link to a Google Classroom that you can join to fill out a form to get your information sent in so we can add you to an episode if that's what you want. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Do you guys have anything else you guys want to say?
Pretty much just indulge in things that you don't think you like to do. Because I didn't originally think I would like anime,
Yeah,
and now
Neither did I.
I'm gonna go stab myself.
anyone else?
Okay, well,
Nah,
thank you guys
nah,
for
I'm just
watching.
joking.
I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you guys in the next episode.